And we're live. Uh-oh. No Luke.
Great.
He's busy in Monoman right now.
Gambling?
Auditing.
Oh, gambling.
There you go. No video. There you go. All right, we're live. Are you guys ready?
I've been ready.
All right, welcome to this week's Fierce Football Feast, the show where we put you on the money and make you those dollars when it comes to college football betting. Each week we pick about 15 to 20 games against the spread. All the games either include a team from the top 25 or from the Big Ten, and then afterwards we'll give you a 3-game parlay for a $10 bet that usually pays out about $60. We try to just put you on the money, and then because we are great FCS football minds, we go ahead and we pick the Missouri Valley Football Conference games for the week. So without further ado, we'll say hello to Juggle Belly.
What's up, y'all?
We'll say hello to Big Papa.
How's it going? You should have, Mondo. You should have rephrased that. That only one of us would actually put people on the money this week. It's generally me.
Whoa! Who had the best record last week?
Who has the best record over the last 3 weeks combined?
All right, guys. And Dakota Slim, who is this blue guy. Say hi, Dakota Slim.
Howdy, man.
All right. So starting out, we got Illinois at Purdue. This could not be a worse game. Hoosiers are 7-point favorites. Only 7-point favorites in West Lafayette.
And by Hoosiers, you mean Illini?
Yep, you're absolutely right. I got the Illini covering this. What do you think, Juggle Belly?
Yeah, easily. Purdue is, I mean, we say it every week, they're one of the worst football teams maybe ever. Matt Cato might give Purdue a run for their money this year.
Papa.
Yeah, Illinois is actually, a little bit better than their record is. The last couple games, they've actually been able to play somewhat competitive games against Penn State, Indiana, and Ohio State. They're going to be able to score enough to win by at least 7, so Illinois.
Slim.
Illinois, they played good against Ohio State and actually put up some points against pretty decent defense. So I think Illinois can score early and often against Purdue's defense.
Yeah, like I said, I got Illinois, not the Hoosiers, the Illini. When did they stop being the Fighting Illini?
They're still fighting Illini.
They stopped being the Fighting Sioux.
On ESPN, they're still listed as Fighting Illini.
Did you just Google it?
Yeah.
All right. All right, we got Sparty heading into Evanston, where they are. Is it Evanston or Evansville?
Evanston.
Okay. Where Sparty is 7.5-point favorites. Sparty doesn't score that many points, but they got one of the best defenses in the country. I got to think they cover 7.5 points. What do you think, Papa?
Yeah, they're definitely going to cover 7.5. They really want to win this one because if Minnesota is able to upset Wisconsin, they don't want to have to play to make it to the Big Ten championship game. They want to clinch it here. You just say they didn't score that much. The last 3 games, they've scored 29 points or more. I don't think Northwestern has any reason to stay competitive in this game. They're going to get blown out early, I think.
Jiggle.
Michigan State here. A little foreshadowing. They're going to wrap up the Big Ten division here this week.
Terrible.
But Michigan State wins this one, definitely.
Slim.
Yeah, I got to agree with them. Northwestern is 0-6 in their last 6 and lost their last 3 home games as well.
That team is snake bit too. They'll find a way to lose. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, look at their game last week against Michigan, the week before against Nebraska. I mean, that team is destined to lose.
Thanks for your opinion.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Blue Devils going into Winston-Salem, playing Wake Forest. Dukie's only 5.5-point favorites. This seems like a rotten line to me because I haven't picked Duke every time they've been on our sheet. And this week I'm actually going to pick them. I think they cover 5.5 easy. How about you, Slim?
Well, if Matt Limoges isn't the kiss of death, I wouldn't pick them. But, yeah, Wake Forest is terrible. They're not a good squad, so I'm going to take Duke in this one. Duke looked impressive against Miami last week.
Jiggle.
Devils better than Deacons.
All right. Papa.
Yeah, Duke's going to win this one. They have a chance to make it to the ACC championship game, which is pretty unheard of for them.
All right.
Pretty sure they've never been there before.
I can never remember them even being relatively competitive.
Didn't they play the Rose Bowl once a year in Duke Stadium? Like back in like the 40s, like during World War II?
I don't know. Sounds a little ridiculous, but
all right. Michigan going into Kinnick with them pink locker rooms. And the Hawks are 6-point favorites. I'm a big Hawkeye fan, but I don't know about this one. How about you, Papa?
I'm going with the Hawkeyes here. They've been playing pretty well all year. And Michigan's offense is just atrocious. I mean, they were struggling left and right against a very, very, very mediocre Northwestern defense. I think Iowa's going to find a way to win by a touchdown.
Slim.
I'm actually going to take Michigan in this one. I just don't trust Iowa, especially with the 6-point spread. I think Iowa might still win this game, but I think it'll be closer, and so I'm going to take Michigan to cover.
Jiggle.
Two things here. 1942 Rose Bowl game was played in Durham, North Carolina, at Duke Stadium. And Duke lost that game to Oregon State.
Great.
And I got Iowa here. Michigan has just been bad lately. They couldn't score a touchdown until the third overtime last week against Northwestern.
Yeah, I got Iowa too. I think somehow they pull it out. So, one of the most surprising spreads on the board this week is the Sooners going into Bill Snyder Stadium, where K-State's 4-point favorites. The same stadium they lost to North Dakota State University at. Anyway, K-State beats Oklahoma by 4 points, Papa.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going with K-State here. I don't think Oklahoma is clicking on all cylinders here. I think they're starting a different quarterback this week. I think they're going to struggle. Kansas State's been on quite a roll the last 4 weeks, winning all their last 4 games, so they're going to win at home here.
Jiggle.
Kansas State, they've looked very impressive. Even in some of their losses this year, after that NDSU game, they kind of figured things out. They started playing Daniel Sams some more, letting him run the ball a little bit more, which I think if they would have done against NDSU, it would have hurt them a little bit more. But they're playing well. Oklahoma's kind of going the other direction right now.
Slim.
Yeah, I think their turnaround has a lot to do with them playing Daniel Sams more, like Jiggle said. Also, their top receiver, Tyler Lockett, and their top running back, John Hubert, are healthy now. So I think they can cover this spread as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go K-State as well, just because it makes that Bison win over K-State look even better. So if you haven't figured out, if you're a first-time viewer of the Football Feast, I'm not necessarily the authority. I'm here for the personality and the on-air talent. So that brings us into the Hoosiers going into the Horseshoe in Columbus, where Buckeyes are 34-point favorites. But Indiana can score. What do you think, Papa?
Yeah, they looked pretty good scoring last week, didn't they? They scored 3 points against a really good Wisconsin defense last week and lost by almost 50. Ohio State has a better offense than Wisconsin. I think that Ohio State actually covers their 30-plus point spread this week. Ohio State, the only way they can make it to the national championship and hold off Baylor is to continue to rout teams. So I like them again this week.
Slim.
Yeah, I got to agree with all of what Big Papa said. OSU can put up points, and Indiana's D is just terrible. I'll take OSU.
Joe Belly.
Indiana's got a bad defense. Their offense clearly didn't do anything last week against Wisconsin. But that being said, I think Indiana loses his game probably by 3-4 touchdowns, but I don't think it gets to over 34. I'm going to take Indiana in this one.
Indiana lost to the Badgers by like 50 points or something like that.
48.
The Badgers lost to Ohio State. It's in Columbus. Indiana doesn't come within 34. Ohio State covers. Going out west. Well, southwest, actually. We got the Ducks going into Nick Foles' alma mater, the Wildcats, Arizona, where the Ducks are 21-point favorites. But does Rich Rod have his boys playing well enough to be within 3 touchdowns, Big Papa?
Not a chance. Oregon rebounded pretty well after a tough loss against Stanford, blew out Utah. You know, Arizona State's been mediocre at best. Arizona's been mediocre at best. They lost to Washington State, not very good. Lost to UCLA, who's okay. They barely beat Cal. They're not going to keep this one close.
Jiggle.
Been to Tucson. It's a nice little town. But I think Oregon's going to enjoy their stay. They're going to enjoy it a lot more when they win this game by about 6 touchdowns.
Slim.
Yeah, I'm just going to copycat what both of those guys said. Oregon's going to put up some points down in the desert.
Ducks win, and they smoke a whole hell of a lot of peyote afterwards. Huskers going into Collegeville, where the Nittany molesters, Lions, are 1.5 favorites. I think Nebraska wins this game. Jiggle Belly.
Yeah, I like Nebraska in this one as well. Penn State's not a very good team. Nebraska's not overly impressive either, but they've been more impressive than Penn State so far this year, so I like Nebraska.
Slim.
Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I think I'm gonna take Penn State on this one. Penn State at home is just a different team. Their only loss at home this year is to UCF by 3. I think Penn State's gonna win this one by more than 1.5.
Papa.
I'm going to go with Nebraska. Nebraska, their offense is playing a little bit better. Hopefully, Taylor Martinez never comes back. And I think that they're gonna win this one, probably just by a field goal, but they're gonna pull it out.
We have our first unsolicited advertisement on social network. It's from a friend who's listening all the way from Milwaukee, saying that we should go ahead and get them, and hashtags Cheetos because she loves Cheetos. So, Tali, if you're listening, that's for you. I picked this already. Nebraska wins this game. We're actually going to take number 9 on our list and move it to the last game. So we'll go Texas A&M going into Baton Rouge, where Baton Rouge is only where the Tigers are only 3.5-point favorites. My deal is early in the year I said when you go into Baton Rouge, you automatically LSU automatically gets 5 points. So it seems to me like they're giving A&M a little bit more clout here. What do you think there, Jiggle Belly?
I think Johnny Manziel is too much. LSU will score on Texas A&M, but I think Texas A&M is going to outscore LSU in this one, and they're going to win this game.
Slim.
Yeah, Johnny Football is going to have a hell of a game. LSU is a good defense, not a good enough defense to stop first-round pick Johnny Manziel. A&M.
Papa.
Yeah, I'm going with A&M as well. A future Minnesota Viking, Johnny Manziel, is going to put up some Heisman-like numbers on Saturday, and I think they're going to win by 10.
Yeah, I got A&M here too. It's not in College Station, but I think Johnny Manziel gets it done.
Little side question. Johnny Football win back-to-back Heismans this year?
No.
All right.
Jameis Winston's putting up a pretty good case, and unless he gets arrested, he's probably in the driver's seat.
Back-to-back freshman, huh?
He's going to get arrested in Baton Rouge after this game, so no, he won't win the Heisman this year.
Little riverboat casino?
Yep. Bourbon Street, baby.
We got Sun Devils going into UCLA, where the Devils are 1.5 favorites. UCLA was ranked in the top 10, mind you, at the beginning of the season. I actually like UCLA in this game. I know they haven't played well recently, but Arizona State's one of those teams that I can't ever pick just because of what they did to the Badgers. Big Papa, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with UCLA here. Arizona State is, got some inflated records here because of that bogus call against Wisconsin. They really shouldn't even be in the top 25. UCLA surprised me last week against Washington and played a really solid game. I think they're going to follow it up with another win this week.
Jiggle Belly.
Putting way too much stock in that blown call for Wisconsin. Nothing says that French makes that field goal and Wisconsin wins that game. Arizona, and the fact that Arizona State was even in position to be ahead of Wisconsin at that point just proves that they're a viable team and should be ranked where they are. They have offensive weapons in Kelly and Grice, and I think they go into the Rose Bowl and they win this game.
Slim.
Not so fast, Mr. Gigabelly. UCLA's got a good squad this year. Their only losses, like I said last week, Stanford and Oregon, both top 10 teams. Mondo said that they aren't playing well lately, but they beat a good Washington team last week. I think they come out ahead on this one. I'll take the points, and I think they're going to win.
All right, so we got Jiggle Belly separated there.
Worked for Auburn last week. Don't worry about it.
Wow, luckiest pick ever.
Yeah, nice humble brag, bro. Jesus. Tigers and Mizzou going into Ole Miss. Tigers are 3.5-point favorites. I think Missouri's better than 3.5 at Ole Miss, right, Papa?
Absolutely. Missouri's been a surprise team for this whole year. They've covered 9 of their last 10 spreads. They're going to do it again this week.
Slim.
Yeah, I got to agree. James Franklin's going to be back. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be slinging.
Jiggle.
Tigers.
They could put Luke in at quarterback this week, and they'd probably still cover that.
Rawr. Tigers. Bears at OK State. This is the game that's getting College Game Day this week, I think.
Ooh.
Stillwater, Minnesota.
Baylor, their smallest spread of the year at 9.5 points, and they're on the road in T. Boone Pickens Stadium. But I can't pick against Baylor. They always cover, even when their spread is like 40 points. So I got to take Baylor here. What do you have, Big Papa?
Yeah, Baylor is definitely going to cover this spread. Similar to the last game we picked, 9 of the last 10, and every single one's been over 15 points. They're going to cover this one too. I mean, I'm looking at their numbers right now. They've only been held less than 40 points, I think, one time this whole season. In that game, they scored 35. So they're going to score, and I don't think Oklahoma State's going to be able to come up with that many points.
Jiggle Belly.
One thing for the host. Save the sex faces for after the live broadcast.
Thanks for the what?
Save the sex faces for after the live broadcast.
She walked by and spanked herself.
We're going to take Baylor here. They're just too good of a team right now. Oklahoma State's good too, but I just don't think anybody can keep Baylor from scoring under 50 at this point.
Slim.
Yeah, Baylor hasn't played anybody that's near Oklahoma State's caliber this year. This game could be a wake-up call for them, but I just think Baylor's too talented to lose this one. And, I mean, I think they're going to cover this spread like Jiggle Belly and Big Papa have said. They've covered the last 9 out of 10 spreads. So I think I'll take Baylor.
Yeah, the Bible Belt to be rocking after this one. I got Baylor as well. We got Stanford going into Berkeley, where they are 31.5-point favorites, and that's a hell of a spread, especially for a Stanford team that likes to run the ball. But don't you guys remember at the beginning of the year when Slim said Cal was going to be a really good team? They had a hell of a passing offense and everything.
He never said that.
Slim, who do you got in this game?
I'm actually going to take my boys from Cal. I just think 31 points is way too many for Cal for Stanford to even score. I think they'll win this game like 24-0.
Papa.
Yeah, I agree. Stanford's not scored more than 31 points in their last 5 games, so I would have a hard time believing they're going to score more than that, not give up any. We're going Cal here.
Jiggle Belly.
Stanford didn't look good last week. They don't score a lot. This is a rivalry game. I kind of think the spread is a little absurd. I'm going to take Cal.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cal here too. I know I gave Slim some shit for saying Cal was, going to go to the Rose Bowl this year, but
that Cal Northwestern rematch in the Rose Bowl.
It's chilly hot.
By the way, over/under on how many band members are going to be on the field at the end of this game. I say 20 is the over/under, and I'll take the over.
Well, there's at least 22 football players out there for Stanford who are probably all band members.
All right, this leads us to possibly the most disgusting mid to late season matchup I've possibly ever seen. I don't even know why Florida State schedules this team this late in the season, but you got the Vandals of Idaho going to Tallahassee, where they're 57-point dogs. I almost refuse to pick this one just because 57 points is far too many. But Jiggle Belly, what do you got?
Taylor Heineke from Old Dominion last week against Idaho threw for 533 yards against Idaho. And Taylor Heineke was a 1AA quarterback who this is their transition season to FBS. So if Heineke can put up 533 against Idaho, Winston might be able to throw for 2,000 yards in this game alone. 500 a quarter might not be out of reach. So I'm actually going to take Florida State in this one to win this game by more than 57 points.
Papa.
I want to pick Idaho so badly, but as ridiculous as it sounds, I can't even imagine them getting a first down, let alone giving up anything less than 60 points. So I'm going to go with Florida State here, too. This is the ultimate pad in the stats kind of game for those guys.
Slim.
With the sexual assault allegations in mind, I'm going to take FSU by 69.
That's perfect. That's perfect. But what you guys don't know, since you guys aren't learned law minds like myself, is that Idaho has some of the strictest sexual abuse laws in the country, and they actually commonly arrest people who have been suspected of sexual abuse before their game in other states. No, I'm kidding.
It doesn't matter. They
can play with 10 on the field and still win by 57.
By more than 57.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go, one more point than Slim and go say Seminoles by 70 in this week. So
it has the makings of a 70-3 kind of game.
I got Seminoles in this one too. Which brings us to the game. We move to the end of this game. It's Border Battle, which to us Minnesotans is a big deal. You know, we're hosting the Badgers. We haven't had the Axe since 2003, since that block punt and the immortal face of Lawrence Maroney on the sideline on ESPN in the Dome. And then those Badgers, they sprinted over to that sideline and took the Axe at the end of the game, and hasn't seen the Gopher sideline since. But I talked to somebody who went to Wisconsin, who grew up in Wisconsin, who's not my girlfriend. And they said that the Gopher matchup for the Badgers isn't a big deal. it's not a big game. But for the Gophers, it's a huge game. That being said, the Badgers are 16-point favorites in TCF. And if they can't ever fill up TCF this weekend, they will never fill up TCF again. I don't know who to pick on this one, so I'm going to listen to you guys and see who you guys pick. Jingle Belly.
Well, so I went to Chipotle tonight for dinner, and I'm sitting there, and this guy standing in front of me in line. Yeah, that guy looks familiar. So I go, so Perk, who you like in this game? Eric Perkins tells me, Badgers.
Did he give you a point spread?
No, that's a lie. But Eric Perkins was directly in front of me in line tonight.
And you didn't ask him?
I didn't ask him. No, he was talking Wolves.
Oh.
But anyway, the Gophers may be 8-2, and they're probably the worst 8-2 team in college football history.
Ooh.
They're just not good. There's nothing to like about this team other than Rashid Hageman. Cobb has been okay at running back, but they have played just a bad schedule. The Big Ten's weak. Wisconsin is going to run all over this team. Iowa ran for like 400 yards against the Gophers. Wisconsin might run for 1,000 this week. So, Wisconsin in this one.
Slim.
Yeah, this game was pretty tough to pick. It's pulling at my heart. I want to take Minnesota. I really do. I just can't, because Wisconsin, when they get up, they like to really score, aka Illinois. And it's going to be a cold game, so I don't see anything. You know, I see Wisconsin just running the ball down Minnesota's throat. I gotta take the Badgers.
Papa.
I was at the game in 2003. I was also at the block punt game. Just a roller coaster of emotion with those. I've been riding pretty low for the last, almost decade. As much as I want Minnesota to win this game and how much it would absolutely make my entire fall, the Badgers have covered their last 10 spreads. I don't see them not covering here. I mean, they were able to do it against some other pretty good teams. Minnesota just does not match up very well against them. I hope I'm wrong more than anything, but there's no way that Minnesota's covering this spread if you go by the books.
Papa, just to clarify for our viewers out there, where did you do your undergraduate work? Yeah. The only reason I didn't pick this right off the bat is because I was still thinking about that sweet monologue that I gave before I turned this to the other pickers. I think Bucky runs all over the Gophers here. The Gophers are on defense, they're not big. And you need to be a big, strong, fast defense. And the Gophers make up for their lack of size by being slow on defense. So I can't see Gophs within 16 here. So that's it for our picks, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our three-game parlays. And those of you who are listening who don't know what a three-game parlay is, hence my friend Natalia, a three-game parlay is where you pick 3 games. You have to pick 3 winners to get a payout. And the reason you do it is because you can get a bigger payout if you pick all those 3 games right. Now, if you pick 2 right with 1 wrong, you still lose your all bet. So usually what you do is you put like $10 for better of my stature, Or if you're somebody else, you can put more on it, but you'll put $10 out, and the payouts are usually around $60. In retrospect, tonight, I put $4.45 down on a 4-game parlay in the NHL, and I think I hit 2 of them so far. But that pays out $34. So that's just kind of why people do parlays, and that's what a parlay is. So without further ado, we'll go to Slim with his 3-game parlay this week.
Game number 1, I'm going to take Duke to cover the 5.5 spread over Wake Forest. Then we're going to go to the Michigan State Spartans to beat Northwestern by more than 7.5 points. And finally, I'm going to take the UCLA Bruins, who are dogs at home against Sparty or Sparky.
Jiggle.
So Duke, Michigan State, UCLA.
Arizona State. I'm not picking them, but I can't believe you picked UCLA in that game. That's ridiculous.
It's not.
That's horrible. One of the worst parlay picks I've ever seen.
Is it almost as bad as your fantasy hockey trade that you somehow finagled? This guy must be blind. Which brings up a good question to all you guys. How do blind people know when to stop wiping?
It's all about feel. It's all about feel.
All right, what's your 3-gamer?
Anyway, I'm
Everyone.
gonna take Duke. Never thought I'd say I'll take Duke in a parlay in football, but I'm gonna take Duke. I like Missouri over Ole Miss, and I can't believe I'm actually gonna say this, but I'm gonna take Illinois over Purdue. I'm more excited.
Papa.
I'm going with all Big Ten picks this week. I've got Nebraska to win, Michigan State, and then I hope I'm wrong on this one, but Wisconsin. I'd gladly forfeit $10 to see the Gophers win this game.
Hey, you did forfeit $10 when you went to Northwestern this year, right?
What are you talking about?
Your ticket was like $10 when you went and watched the Gophers.
Oh, yeah. 4th row. It was awesome.
So I actually, guys, I think that they smell the toilet paper after they wipe, and when it stops smelling, they stop wiping. But the real question at hand, I'm
You're an idiot.
I'm gonna go Duke, Nebraska, and Baylor. I know that Baylor picks a kind of shot in the dark, but I just
No, that's a good one.
My eyes just
no
went
more
to
ballsy than Illinois.
Yeah, right. All right, so all you FBS minds, you can go ahead and leave unless you really want to be schooled on probably the best conference in football history, Missouri Valley Football Conference. Not this year, though. Sorry. Traditionally.
They're ranked number 1 in every computer poll as the toughest conference this year.
Oh, that's great. And they're going to send 1, maybe 2 teams to the playoffs?
Oh, good for you.
Could be 4.
Bullshit.
3 for sure.
No way. Who?
NDSU, Youngstown, and if South Dakota State beats Youngstown, both those teams will get in. And if University of Northern Iowa wins this week, they will get in.
Mm-hmm.
They will be 7-5 with 7 Division I wins, which has always been the minimum requirement that's been laid out by the committee. They have a win over Iowa State and a win over McNeese State, which is probably going to be a seeded team, or if not seeded, they're going to get in as an at-large bid for sure.
Slim, you agree with that?
I couldn't disagree more. I think the Missouri Valley Conference will be lucky to get 3. I think the SDSU Youngstown winner that's basically a play-in game for the playoffs.
You don't think Youngstown will get in even if they lose?
They'll be 7-5 they'll be 8-4.
They'll be 8-4.
No good wins.
With what?
With no good wins.
Yeah. They'll be
All
on
right,
the
we'll
bubble.
want to do our Missouri Valley football picks. I don't know why this is number 1, but we'll go Southern Illinois at Indiana State. Salukis, Sycamores. Right?
Yep.
No, god damn it.
You're right.
No, yeah, I'm right.
You are right.
Salukis at the Sycamores.
Stay hot.
Who's got Salukis?
Everybody.
Yeah, I got the Salukis here. How about you, Slim?
Yeah, Egyptian dogs.
Jiggle Belly.
Yeah, Salukis. We gotta give Indiana State a little bit of props though. They only lost to Purdue by 6 this year.
Papa.
They were pretty close against Indiana too for a while, if not. I mean, they got blown out, but they were close for like a quarter. The real question is, how come Southern Illinois wasn't getting any love for this playoff talk? If they win this game, they'll be 7-5 and 5-3 in the MVC. Looks a lot better on.
And we just muted Haynes. It had to happen. Don't talk about Southern Illinois making the playoffs.
How could you want to pick Northern Iowa, who has a worse conference record by far than Southern Illinois?
Oh my
You
god!
gotta look at the whole body of the season, where they had injuries. They had injuries that slowed them down. They've had more good wins that would. They have wins over Iowa State. They have a win over McNeese State, a win over Youngstown State. They played NDSU tough. They lost 3 games in overtime. If you look at the full body of work, Northern Iowa is a good team. It's going to be a stretch for them. It would take some other teams to lose potentially. But I think they're going to be at least in the discussion for that one of those last at-large bids.
All right, can we pick the next game? Jesus. All right, Western Illinois at the Unidome. I got UNI. Slim.
Yeah, UNI. They're actually starting to. They like Jiggle Belly said. They played tough all year. They had some injuries. I think they'll win this game. Western Illinois isn't a very good squad.
Papa.
I almost want to pick Western Illinois just to try to strengthen my Southern Illinois argument, but but UNI is gonna win.
Jiggle Belly.
UNI is going to win. I would love if Western won and just ended any hopes whatsoever that UNI has. I don't want UNI to get in the playoffs. Can't stand those guys. But I'm going to take UNI in this game.
All right. So this brings us to a game that's not in the Missouri Valley but has some meaning of significance to FCS football. We got Montana at Montana State. So this is the Grizz going into the what are they? Bobcats. All right. Probably the worst jerseys in all of football is Montana State. Don't like them. Don't like the logo. I got Montana. What do you think, Jiggle Belly?
Yeah, I got Montana too. Montana State loses this game, they're probably out of the playoffs. Coming in, they were the number 2 ranked team preseason in the FCS poll. They'll be 7-5 after this with only 6 Division I wins, and they would be. There's 4 teams in their conference ahead of them for sure that would get in the playoffs ahead of them. So I got Montana knocking out Montana State from any playoff hopes.
Slim just dropped out, so we'll go straight to Papa.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Grizz as well.
Great.
Compelling and rich.
Slim, what do you got? Montana or Montana State?
Well, I don't know if this was said earlier, but this is called the Brawl of the Wild. That's the title of the game. Montana State basically has to win to get into the playoffs here. So I'm going to take actually Montana. Montana's a tough team. I think they could do some damage in the FCS playoffs and even maybe make the title game this year. They look really good.
Ooh. Wow, nice sleeper pick there, Slim. Out of nowhere. Comes back in right at the nick of time. I mean, that's timing. Papa's just wrapping up his one-word pick. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. Slim just dropped out. I don't want to move on without getting his pick. All of a sudden, he pops back in. And he doesn't miss a beat. Oh, it's the Battle of the Wild, Brawl of the Wild, actually.
That's live radio there, folks.
Great. That's why we pay him the big bucks. All right, so we'll go to the second most important Missouri Valley football game this week. SDSU at Youngstown State. I hate SDSU, so I'm picking Youngstown State. Slim.
I actually hate Youngstown State after last weekend's events where Youngstown State on 2 occasions called out NDSU and called them cheap shot artists. So I'm going to pick the Jackrabbits.
Jiggle Belly.
This is based solely on my hatred for Youngstown State, that I'm going to pick South Dakota State here. I also think Youngstown isn't playing very well right now. And I hope dearly that they lose this game and it knocks them out of the playoffs. I just don't like them. There's nothing good about them. Blocked a field goal against me once, returned it for a touchdown. Nothing good comes out of Youngstown.
Papa, go for it.
Jim Tressel came out of Youngstown, didn't he?
Yeah,
Again,
horrible. Again, not a good argument.
Got
for
muted
Youngstown.
again. Gaines just got muted again. You can't sit there and tell me Jim Tressel is good.
Hey.
You are just losing all your credibility in the NBC.
Hey, Mondo, you can mute me when you win. When you pick more than half the games right in a given week.
Okay, so last week when I went 9-5, then.
All right, when you get overall to 500, you got a ways to go.
How far off am I?
I don't know, but you're about 14 games below me.
13, 14 seasons away.
Yep.
All right, pick your goddamn game.
Youngstown State.
All right.
Boo!
NDSU. Papa.
Do you really have to ask who everybody thinks is going to win this game? It's pretty obvious.
Who?
North Dakota State's going to win.
Slim.
This is going to be a closer game than y'all think. Senior day, it's going to be full of emotions. These seniors have won 2 national titles. Grant Olson's going to come wheeling out of the tunnel for senior day. It's going to be an emotional day in Fargo, but got to go with the Bison.
Jiggle.
Crush job. This thing will be over by the start of the 4th quarter. All backups in. Bison cruise.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up this week's Missouri Valley football section and also this week's Fierce Football Feast. Come back next Wednesday, roughly 8:30. It all depends on what time I get home from work and have a piece of cheesecake.
You have cheesecake?
Yeah, Lauren bought me cheesecake tonight.
Oh,
What a catch.
I want
Right?
cheesecake.
And she hasn't put funky shit on the walls like behind where you're sitting there.
What's on the wall? Oh,
You got
Kansas
problems
wall.
with my pictures, bro?
Navajo design.
Hey,
Lion
we painted
The
those.
lion eye design.
Lion
Hey, I'm at the Indian tribe right now. Could we keep the Indian tribe?
Hey, Slim, how much have you lost already?
$0.00.
Have you won any?
$0.00.
Are you going
Go
down?
play
like
some.
this?
Go play some 210 Hold'em.
I probably will tonight.
All right, win big, Slim, and we'll see all y'all next week. Bye.